morning cafe with Debaria Inea and Anne Odida. My name is Godfrey Okeyo, the Nairobi County Youth Leader for PNU, Party of National Unity. Will the Gen Z decide the President of Kenya come 2027? Well, not to the extent that we think. They will influence who is going to be president to a certain extent, just not to the extent that we think. Why am I saying this? There is a perception that the Gen Z are going to put their vote in one basket. For me, that is not very true because of what Kenyan politics has been for a very long time. Kenyan politics for a very long time has been dictated by tribal affiliations. You can see right now, all people from the mountain are behind Rigiji, Rigathi Gachagua. We can see a big percentage of people from the Lake region are behind Oburu and his Linda Ground team. We can see the Kamba Nation are behind Kalonzo Musyoka. We can see the Gusii Nation are behind Matiang'i. They even installed him as the tribal kingpin. So you can see that our politics is pretty much still tribal. And that is not just true for the older generations. That is also true for the Gen Zs. Right now we have Kikuyu Gen Zs, we have Luo Gen Zs. To solve this problem, we have to accept it as it is. So, because of the tribal politics that still exists with the old generation, and also a good percentage of the Gen Z, the new generation, the Gen Z are not going to influence who is going to be president by a very large extent. But yes, there is going to be some influence because that tribal politics has reduced for the Gen Zs, but we still have a long way to completely eradicate tribal politics in our country. Thank you.
All right, and sentiments there coming through our social media, the WhatsApp, the Facebook as well. On X, let's hear what you're saying. That is, according to one voice there, that is not going to be a one fell swoop as far as now garnering all these voters in one basket is concerned. We still have cultural dynamics, we still have tribalism, negative ethnicity as it stands on the way of making sure that our political landscape is dramatically different. And you can see them, they're already here in studio, all of them. I'm holding court this morning just to remind you with Eugene Arogo, who is a youth leader. We have as well Mwanacity Athmani Community Youth Leader, Anthony Murithi, political strategist and analyst. Also we have Evans Onyango, aspirant Kasarani MP. And now we're joined by Ouma Oyao Neko, youth leader Kasarani. Donning yellow, you know, when you speak of yellow, you're speaking of party colors. Are you leaning to any party? Yeah, so this is very telling because it's a political talk show that we're having this morning, right? Are you insinuating something?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all?
It's just my gift from my significant other.
So you told them, hey, you have to be here for me to, yes, you have to watch for me to actually show you that I'm donning that particular T-shirt. But welcome, a hearty welcome to you. You're running late though?
Traffic jam.
Traffic jam.
I had to abandon the car and board a motorcycle. Yes.
Sorry about that. But of course, we've continued with the conversation. We'll come to you. But let me just begin with Eugene Arogo. Let me just get a reaction from what he said. That still, even as we're having the Tuko Kadi mantra right now, and people are being rallied to pick up their voter card, that will not really make a discernible difference. Maybe just a slight of it, but not, as I've said, one fell swoop in making sure that we scoop the whole entire voter, of course, block and take these people away home.
Yeah, so first of all, this Tukokadi thing is a massive turnout voter registration. And this time we are going with it until election time. We are not going to lag behind. So that's why we are there to take people to...
But he says that, you know, that will not really make a difference because as a country, we are so entrenched in tribalism. As a country, we are so steeped also in ethnicity. And you can see what is really playing out in the public gallery. Yesterday we saw Rigathi Gachagua in Murang'a saying, you know, hey, musikubali, nyinyi wa vijana wa Murang'a, nyinyi wa Kihara hapa, watu wapigane, you know, Kikuyu against Kikuyu, right? Wacha tukue kitu kimoja. Still, of course, sentiment is, of course, let other people fight us, but not within internal animosity happening within us.
But we'll not end at that point. Because after we take the Tukokadi challenge, we are going to chukua kura and we are going to kulinda kura by guiding to make sure that these people, they are not stealing our votes anymore coming 2027. So by that, find that people will turn out, and we are not stopping at that. We'll have also civic education from people who are not online, like people from wako abroad, those people at Shago. So we are going to make them come and turn out for the massive voter registration so that they can be able to turn out. So as for me, I have friends who are saying that they will not vote because they know this regime is going to steal. But I tell them that it's because of you that you're lagging us behind. So by that, you find that civic education will be of help to them. And by that, utapata, like, they'll be in a position to change their mind and come to vote coming 2027.
Right, but are we doing all these things within a party structure? Are you also aligning yourself with any party?
No, right now I'm not in any party. It's just me individually as a Gen Z. And as for me also, the reason I want this regime out, I'm also a victim of those people who are injured. In June 2025, last year, I was badly injured by an explosive tear gas canister. So I have also the injuries, my chest is paining till today. So by that, that's the anger we have as youths. That's the anger we have as Gen Z. So that's why we want this regime out, this system, root on the system to go out. Not just root, but root on the system to get out coming 2027. Yeah.
All right, so what do you think is the alternative solution?
The alternative solution is just kuchukua kwari,
so they go out then,
kulinda kura.
You have an empty space, or who, in your own assessment, should be taking over, or what sort of a leader are you looking for?
We're looking for a leader who is concerned about what we want as Gen Z. A leader who is able to look at us and empower youths with jobs. Right now, most of us, we are unemployed. We don't have jobs. We are depressed because we are jobless. So we want a leader who will hear us as Gen Zs, as even others, millennials also. There are some who don't have jobs. So we want a leader who will govern us in the right way. Yeah. Okay,
let me just drop in Ouma, just on this conversation as well. So you can, first of all, just give us an indication of who Ouma is. Yeah, of course, you've stated your name, or I've stated your name, but we want to know you more. You're a youth leader in Kasarani. So what is the scope of within the youth leadership that you're engaged in? You can tell us what you normally do in Kasarani.
I'm Paul Ouma Oyaoneko, a registered voter in Kasarani constituency, and that is Njiru ward. I've had this conversation, and I would wish to summarize it in the simple way possible. We are not Kikuyus, we are not Luyas, Luos, Kalenjins, Kambas. We are not Masais. We are all suffering. And all we want, come 2027, is a free, fair, transparent, credible, and verifiable election that reflects the will of the Kenyan people. Many a times we've been told that the youth are the future leaders, that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. That tomorrow is today. And that is why we are saying to Kokadi, the youth must come out in their numbers and register as voters, because we tried a street revolution. The consequences were very severe. We lost so many people, we lost friends, we lost relatives, properties were damaged, a lot of things happened. Politicians took advantage over the situation. They turned a peaceful protest into a violence thing, and Ruto named it anarchy, and he said, if there is no Kenya for me, there will be no Kenya for you. Now today, we are here as the youth of this nation, telling President William Ruto, enough is enough. We've seen corruption in our country. We've seen the state of our healthcare. We've seen the state of our education. We've seen the state of our security. We've suffered as a people. We've suffered as a nation. And we know the solution to our problems is turning out in large numbers, registering as voters. Come 2027, the solution is at the ballot. We will weed them out and vote in people we can trust with the leadership of our nation. My brother, all our problems we are facing as a nation are as a result of poor leadership. If we want to change this nation, we must change the leadership of this country. Yes.
All right, so we must change the leadership of this country. But if we were to do it, and Arogo here is also not within any political party, how then do you want to do, what will be the structure? Maybe I should come to you, Evans, and tell us, is it important that you should be in a political party? And you think the structures of within the political party are stifling, you know, the flourishing of the young people? You know,
okay, first of all, let me respond to what the other youth leader said.
Yes.
Prior to this, there is one thing that we must deviate from as a country, especially at this juncture. That thing is called social conditioning. We've been conditioned that we cannot have proper leadership in this country if we do not go by tribe. And that is why I would want to deviate so much from the issues of tribe to the issues to the factors that are affecting us as Kenyans. I would like to remind that gentleman that tribal politics is not going to get us where we want to be as a nation. And that is why we as young people, we are saying one thing, that if the price of unga today rises, it affects you in Othaya, it affects you in Migori, it affects you in Mombasa. It doesn't care which tribe you belong to. And that is why we as young people, we have come out and said, all we care about is a working system. If healthcare in this country is working, we will not care which tribe the president comes from. If the road transport and infrastructure is working, we do not care which tribe your governor is coming from. If the education sector in this country is working, we do not care which tribe the MCA is coming from. Because by the end of the day, the reason why we are having all this tribal politics is because the people who come from these tribal locations, first of all, voted these leaders into office. And I'm talking about our parents and the parents before us. And they believe that these people are supposed to bring change. So every time they gamble using their tribal card and it doesn't work out. But we as young people, we have come up, we have analyzed the situation, we have looked at the country, and we have said that, you know what, for us to move forward, let's look past the tribe. Let's look at the issues that are affecting us as a nation. Today, so many young people are jobless, and that is why they are being used by politicians to push the tribal card. So we must look at vision, we must look at plans, we must look at execution, we must look at issues of ethics, and you must look at the respect to the Constitution of Kenya, something that tribal politics has not been able to solve. And I like what he said towards the end, that there is going to come a generation and a time when people shall be able to solve this. The only people who can solve this are these young people you see here today, are those young people who are now coming out for the Nico Kadi challenge, because they believe that my tribe is not going to solve these problems. Why is it that when we date, we can date any tribe? You know, you can be a Lu, but you date from the Murima, right? You can be from Ukambani, but you date from Western.
Yes.
How comes now when you go to the ballot, now you pull out the tribal card? Kenyans want a working system. And we as the young people, we have said that we are coming out to solve this problem once and for all. And party, now to answer you, party politics, political parties are just vehicles that get us to office. We have got so many members of parliament who are in UDA are performing, and we can see them. We have got members of parliament who are in ODM and are not performing as well. So by the end of the day, what the young people want, whether you are in which political party, and you believe in the manifestos of that party, once you get into that office, can you make this country work for us? The anger that you see in the faces of these young people, the reason why they pull up along on so many lines every day going to check this voters card, is because we are concerned about the future of this country and the future of our future children.
Thank you.
So it is going to work.
It's going to work?
Yes.
Okay. Let me come to you, Anthony. And ask you regarding the cultural norms as it is right now, because it's a reality, as we heard from that particular clip, that we've looked at the issues, we are going to debate, we are going to vote, we are going to scrutinize according to issues, not because of our tribal enclaves and patronage that we actually have been behooved to with the previous regime. But do you think that is really changing? Because if you listen to on the ground as well, maybe here in the metropolis or maybe in the cities as well is where we have a different mindset and different paradigm shifts as far as looking at the political landscape is concerned. But from your own assessment, do you think this is going to be very different and pull away from the tribal patronage that we've been always held back with?
Yes. Let me remind our viewers and everyone in the panel, Moi knew he was losing when the kid in the village, forget the adult, when the kid in the village could sing yote yawezekana bila nyayo. When we come to the current dispensation, what that time the opposition used to call the system, they knew they were in for trouble because at the home level, you could hear kids say, bottom up. Today, if you go and listen to the conversations, deep down, if one of the things that helps you read the mood of a country or the mood of a nation and where people are is when you go down to the home level. Today, if you listen to kids walking from school or going to school, and they are doing that banter they have, you hear a kid telling the other kid, where to kokadi. It tells you that we are resetting the culture of this country. And one of the things that we also take cognizant when you are doing such things is when you're able to penetrate the mind of your opponent. So for me, every time the president stands or the people in government stand and say, Ata sisi tuko kadi, it tells me they have looked at what the country is saying and they want resonance. They want to resonate with it. So when we talk about culture, culture is not set in stone. Culture is a movement. It keeps on changing. Back in the days, mobile phones were not culture. Social media was not a cultural thing. Today, it's a cultural thing. Everyone wants to associate with social media. Social media is setting and resetting the norms globally. So once you hear, the day I heard the head of state say, Ata sisi tuko kadi, it tells me that at that level, that movement is being discussed. What is the impact of this movement? It means that we are setting the tone for this country. To the question of shall we have impact? Yes, we shall, because political.
Do you think it's just trying to resonate with the current?
Thank you. The fact that
timeline that we do have, the fact that it tells you I'm aware. I can resonate.
My point exactly. That he's trying to resonate. It is not us trying to resonate with him. It means it is us. The only point. It is funny because yesterday you mentioned it. I had the leader, one of the political. DCP leader saying, to kokadi, it means even for them to set the agenda at the party level, they need to tell the members of their political party that you must resonate with what the people want. That tells you that the Tukokadi, the youth of this country, have, first of all, won the mind, the fight at the intellectual level. Now, going forward, and you can see this movement evolving, like I said when I started, from the streets to the ballot. Today you are having young people interact with the IABC because they know if you are not part of the team that sets the rules, then we shall be playing someone else's game. So that's the reason you are finding young people very vocal. It has never happened again in this country, where you find a good chunk of young people pulling people to collect to register themselves as vote. Let me tell you, people think that it's only Gen Zs who are not registered as voters. 7.5 million Kenyans are ID holders but are not registered to vote. 7.5 million. It's not a small number.
Right, but
so now we are having even those people, we are giving them a reason to vote.
All right, we'll come back to that as well, but let me just get reactions that we have also on the question that we've been asking. We have Robert Olengush. He's saying Ruto has implemented mega projects. The opposition have any alternative. We have also Pico Tabarin. He says they have no alternative, better candidates, two-term movement, unstoppable. We have also Mutai Masai Gila saying, this is Africa, my friend. Yeah. Also, we have Elijah Kimeu saying it's hard Gen Z could make a decision. Hii ni juu watakuja waongwe kidogo kidogo, wabadili msemo wao, kisha baadaye wanajirudisha baada ya wingu la siasa kupita na kuanza kulaumu utawala mbaya. That is Elijah. Let me see if I have some more. There are many of them as well. We have also Victor Tanui saying, very dynamic. I don't think if they are in position to vote. I don't think if they are in position to vote. So he's doubtful of that. We have Hussein Sode saying, ukabila tu, hakuna nia nzuri, ukabila tu. Also we have Ebi Bella Ebi, just a slogan, tuko kadi. Those kids don't vote. Kelele za online too. All right, these are the reactions. Yeah, so we have also Domi Wangu saying yes, and then we have John Alembi, Gen Z, they don't have IDs, so forget about voting. Of course, someone is saying, of course, Sifuna. This is Tony Tekei, Weldon Kipkorir saying yes. 2 times he's trying to display that. Let's see also reactions on WhatsApp.
And Dibal. Yes, because say tukiangalia pale TikTok, a lot of Gen Zs wanasema niko kadi, like they're creating awareness on people should watu hiyo siku watu watoke in numbers. So and the only way tunaweza toa hii bad governance is by us kutokea in big numbers. Na tunapeana moyo, tunasukumana. Hata nimesikia kuna one of the Gen Zs anaenda kwa passengers, passenger by passenger, akiulizwa uko na kadi, kama una anakuambia ndio uchukue kadi, you know. So yes, sisi ndio tutachagua president this time round. So yeah.
Good morning, Ann Odida with the BAL. And on today's question on will the Gen Z decide Kenya's next president? As you can see, the movement for Kadi is really getting mass following. The youths through positive peer pressure are getting out to get a voter's card. And they're very ready to vote. You have seen even the president has jumped into the Tuko Kadi campaign and other politicians. So yeah, the Gen Z will decide Kenya's next president. We just have to be patient and wait. 15 million voters dream will be right there to 27. Thank you very much.
All right, it's a consequential voice, and everyone is keeping their eyes peeled to see how that will really pan out in 2027. You've heard the voices. They continue apace to seek out for more registration with the Tuko Kadi movement right now. But just looking, maybe, I'll come to you now, Athmani, in 2022, 40% of registered voters in 2022 were actually Gen Z, right? Under 35 registered. But when it came to casting that particular battle, this is not reflective of this particular number. So it might be another thing, getting the card, and you waking up in the morning, that early morning to go and vote, that is a different kettle official altogether. Because in 2019 census, it proved that Kenya's numerical strength was 75%. We're talking about 18 to 34. Right? 18 to 34 only was 29. But the youthful voices, 75%, right? 75%, 40% are only registered voters within that particular bracket. So even if now we go to this and we have this huge numerical strength of 75%, I mean, the difference is wide, right? The difference is just wide. So will this really turn out to be also a vote that is cast in that particular ballot?
Yeah, I'll say yes. First of all, I'll just say that politicians want to destroy whatever is happening. And they've just seen that, first of all, they intimidate us during 2024 protest. And we made an effort to reach to the parliament. And at that parliament stature, they were young people. And then on the social media, it was like the GSU are coming and they'll kill us. So as like, they frightened us at that moment. We didn't have that solution at that moment. So people went back after going into the parliament. At this moment, I'll just say we have parties like ODM, UDA, PNU, Jubilee. But I'll say when you go to Rome, you do what Rome says. I'll answer the PNU leader. You will never speak as a youth in ODM. You'll have to speak as an ODM. You'll never bring your vision. Because if you go with your vision, they'll stab it. Because they've been there for more than 10 to 20 years. Another thing, as like the other youths coming saying that when you say one term to them, it's something bad. But when they sing 2 term, to them it's good because they're in the government. No, let the sheep goes the way it is and let the dogs call the dogs its ways. So I'll just say that we are having our campaign at this moment. We want to change these voices, and in each years there have been a revolution. I think so in 1982, that was the time Raila wanted one multi-party, and it could be this is the 3rd revolution for our country, and it could have bring a change for politicians. We are tired of somebody since 1989. Our interior CS, Mudavadi, has been in this seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister.
Quite unfortunate.
1989
Till today.
till today in politics. There have been generation after generation after generation. I think so. So we don't have any person who is prominent more than Musalia Mudavadi asking the government. Because we have Atoli, who has been in that seat, re-elected again. And we have energetic youths outside there, not even the Gen Zs. We have millennials, we have boomers who have education. I think so if you walk along CBD area, we have Hilton area, we have Archives, we have Aga Khan Walk, we have Jivanji. We usually call those places idlers place, as like jobless corners in our country. You'll find big men with suits talking by themselves with PhDs. Because you don't have connection for this government, you'll never get a job. It's so scaring that each day, if I go say, Ruto, Tano, Henna, I might be called and be given work.
Right.
But if I don't support Ruto, I'll not be given that work. So,
but have we trivialized this also, going by the past election? We can take example of Nairobi here, where we have a youthful face, right, governing this city, isn't it, right? Yeah. You were elected a youthful face. And the girls also on social media were actually electing Dimples, right? Oh, he's handsome. You know, there's so many we trivialize, you know, alongside looking at what that particular person is able to do at that particular seat. We are going for Dimples, or because he's looking good, then we should elect him. Of course, this also will really add up maybe and embellish you to come and take that particular seat. But if this is a sense that we're mobilizing other people to vote, instead of really voting on issues, then why then do we come and complain and bellyache afterwards that, oh, you know, look at how our city is run? Why aren't you the one who was talking about the rubbish in your city? But what are the girls doing on social media?
At that moment, I can say that I didn't vote for Sakaja.
No. I'm not really talking about you.
Yeah,
and I'm not really asking about it. But I'm just talking.
Yeah, that's true.
In a sense of how we mobilize people on social media on trivialities, not on social issues that can actually be very germane and make discernible difference in the city.
Allow me to come to her rescue.
She wanted to defend herself, first of all, saying she did. But they will come to you.
And I'll just say, like, at this moment, we sit down with other youths, discuss of the leadership. There is a difference between a politician, a leader, and there's like a servant. I can say that. And in our politicians, they don't have integrity. That is transparency, accountability, and everything. But as like when we are born, we are given knowledge. Wisdom is for few. So among us, we all have knowledge, but wisdom are for few. So as before you go for something, you should ask yourself, do I have that wisdom to tell Paul that this is the wrong, and he'll accept that this is the wrong? And when I put a wrong, because he wants to be an MP, I tell you, Paul, you have not done this. Will she or will he be against me because I've corrected him? But if I've corrected you the right way and you've accepted to change, that is what we want. For sure, at the moment, you usually say that the Gen Z go with the move. It was like in the social media that we were supporting Matiang'i, we were supporting Suju, we are going with this Mimi Ndio Sifuna, now it's Tukokadi challenge. But it goes with any time of any political thing, they should have a wave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I've lost my sequence. Is it you? Yeah, it's Anthony right now. Okay, continue.
You know, I want us to give the youth credit. You know, we forget very quickly. The reason the current regime is in power is because it was a Gen Z-driven election. And I'll give you an example. The Gen Z in 2022 coined Atupangwingwi. We coined Hustler. We went to the extent that we could even dictate and guide the party leader of UD on how to dress. He needed to resonate with us. That 20%, he needed it. Now, there's an incremental number. Now, you've said it very well, that last time the conversations were around, I remember very well, oh, he doesn't repeat his clothes. Oh, he has dimples. Today, the conversation is different. Today, people are saying what? Garbage, integrity, the rule of law, follow the constitution. So the same youth who propelled a person to power and shouted at Tupangwingi are the same youth now saying, tunajipanga na tuko kadi. Why? Because human beings, by our nature, we evolve and we think different and we see different. So as we sit here today, we must give credit that the youth of this country have now understood the political lingo and how politics works. When we were saying at Tupangwingwi, we meant you can't structure us. And we will vote for who we want and how we want, and we will campaign the way we want. Today, and that is what actually went into 2024, we were still being asked, do you have a leader? No. Do you have a structure? No. After what happened in 2024, today young people are caucusing. Today young people, if you call us like now we are here, what are we saying? After this, I am going to Kibera. One of us here is going to Thika. Another person is going to Embakasi. What are we doing? Today we are organizing around issues. And that is why when Ademba was asked, he said, this is phase one. The same youth you were saying don't register, today you are scared of how they are registering. Okay? The same youth you were saying they don't have an agenda, today they have an agenda, and the people who are saying we don't have an agenda are no longer discussing agendas. I mean, the size of a person, what does that have to do with Kenyans? Your size is your right. Okay? Whether you have a wife or not, that's your right. When the young people start asking questions, this is Talanta Stadium. It's costing X. Why do we have a stadium? And what is the return on investment on this thing? So we are going to pay 100 billion. So what happens after CAF? How do we make this thing continue generating money after we put money on it? Today, the young people are questioning. We are building a railway. Is it a loan? Yes. How shall we make this loan payable given we've not finished paying the first phase of the SGR? Remember, the first term of William Ruto, he went to China to restructure the SGR deal. Why? Because SGR was struggling. And now we want to top it up. I mean, when you're in a hole, you stop digging. The young people are setting the tone and they are saying, we want to discuss issues and we want politics of issues.
Okay.
We
have the changing faces also on the young people. Maybe Omo, you wanted, before I ask the next question, you want to say something?
Yes. I want to come to her defense. We've learned from 2022, and I'm not ashamed of stating categorically, I supported President William Ruto from the year 2019 until he was sworn in as the 5th president of Kenya. I am among those youth who are telling people, we are hustler, hatupangwi na hatutapangwa. I followed William Ruto religiously, believing in his ideology as a man who had the best interest of our country at heart. You don't know how William Ruto is very convincing. Go to Githurai. Ask the Boda Boda people, the Mama Mboga people from Githurai what they were promised. Come to Roysambu, go to Ruai, across the 17 constituencies in Nairobi. I even followed President William Ruto to Eldoret. And by God's grace, around 3 weeks ago, I was at Eldoret. So I tried interrogating the people. Is it we people living in the city that are lazy or are seeing things differently? I want to tell you the truth. Poor leadership has put us in a situation where right now we are reasoning and talking as a country. But because the political class are scared, they want us to speak as Luos, as Kikuyus, and as Kalenjins. We want to tell the government and their supporters the truth. There is something I observed in Dagoretti South the day youth were tear-gassed there. Do you know how many youth were transported from the 5 wards of Kasarani constituency to go and cheer President William Ruto at Dagoretti? Do you know what the MPs in Nairobi constituency are doing to manufacture crowds that do not exist so that President William Ruto can sell an illusion that he has support on the ground, a hired support, a support that do not exist? That is why we are saying 2-term is your democratic right. We are a democratic state. Majority, their way; minority, their say. But our challenges and problems are the same. Go to Kenyatta National Hospital. Show me the 2-term ward and the 1-term ward. Go to a supermarket. Show me the price of unga for a 2-term supporter and a 1-term supporter. And politicians have mastered one thing.
Thank you.
They want to change the narrative.
Yeah, but you must understand also, these are the same problem that we were discussing and saying even before William Ruto came to power.
Yeah.
It is just now that we have the same issues, but now we have a different cast of character as a leader in the country. But we need to interrogate and look and peel back the layer and ask ourselves, are we gullible enough, right? The gullibility of youth, is it being taken advantage of? Are we caught up in what we normally say is a Messiah, complex syndrome? Because how many people have been here that are the faces of Ruto? We've had Matiang'i. Look at how Matiang'i came, the euphoria you had at the airport. People came out in force. You went to Kisii. Who is really talking about Matiang'i right now? Look at Maraga. Weren't you really mobilizing, Maraga and saying, oh, put up even your M-Pesa, number. We're going to fund you and we're going to support you to be a president. Fidelity to the Constitution. You're a man of character. Who is really talking about Maraga right now? All right, that has gone off, isn't it? Right? Now we have Sifunanization of a nation of Kenya. We are caught up in this bubble all the time, and we go with the whims and then it tapers off. But we don't really interrogate and see. And this is maybe the problem of our psyche and the youthful faces of this country, that we are caught up in the euphoria of the moment instead of looking and plumbing deeper. What are the values that this person really stands for? Can he really pass muster as a leader? Right? And we forget about even their pasts. And the past can really tell a character, Yeah. I'll be virtual signaling when I come, maybe, Oma. And this is what I want. I'll be virtual signaling and saying, I'm the good person. Elect me, spotless. But, the innate nature of man, you'll always gravitate to yourself.
Where were we?
That's what I'm asking.
Where were we?
And are we there
as a nation? Where are we as a nation? And where are we going as a nation? And let me correct you. You said 40% of Gen Zs never voted in 2022.
No, I didn't say they registered.
Yes.
They registered as voters. That's what I'm saying. In 2022.
Now, in 2022, President William Ruto, I'll say he win. But the truth is, he survived with around 250,000 votes. In science, we call that a sheer difference. So, it was a political survival. Right now, I don't have the energy to discuss Fred Matiang'i, while under the leadership of Fred Matiang'i as a CS Interior, police officers were very afraid of venturing into corruption. I can't discuss DK Maraga.
No, you didn't understand me. I'm just saying, this is that for it. Weren't we really talking about the other day, Anthony, or any of you can answer that, right? And then everybody forgot about what you're now talking, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? So what they saying, Matiang'i is a man. Bring him. We don't care as long as we don't have this, the Kasongo face ahead of us.
Let me try and...
Evans, let me hear from Evans. I think he's been fairly silent.
I think the reason why we are having all this euphoria that you're talking about, we have the Maraga thing coming up, we have got Sifonization, coming up, and now we're having the the Nico Kadi. I want to tell you that the Nico Kadi campaign is not going to die. The reason is very simple. The reason why we're having all this euphoria is the Kenyan voter is looking for something. And at every given chance that they get a glimpse of this may be it, then let me try it out. But then look at the population of Kenya right now. Who is the man that is the most suffering right now? The person below the age of 35, the youth, right? They're the people who actually pedal faster this euphoria, right? If you look at the issues that are affecting us, issues of jobs, the economy is in struggles, the healthcare, education, and all these things, and that is why the solution that they are looking for is now being embedded in a person that they can actually identify with. If you do not have a job, I do not have a job, right? But then I see that you can offer solution to me. It's very easy for me to relate to you. And that's why we are saying the reason why that euphoria has always been there and it doesn't last long is because they're looking for a permanent solution. But the Nico Kadi challenge, led by similar youths of the same thought, same ideology, same thinking, is now coming up with a one and all-in-one solution that is going to solve all the political lies that have been sold over and over again. Now, coming to the issue of a national leader who is going to who's going to get us to this destination, I do believe that once we have mobilized our numbers enough, talking about the voters that have not been registered, the ones that are yet to take their votes, we shall decide. We shall vet. We shall even use elimination method. You've done this, you've qualified here, you've not qualified here. Now this is the person we are going to support. And if we had discredited any of those leaders before, you may be surprised that any of them can come back and still be able to cling the presidency and lead the country towards the right direction.
With a very huge margin.
With a very huge margin. Yeah. So the reason why we have the euphoria is because people are looking for an answer. And every time they try to look, could this be it? Could this be it? But then, now we are coming up with a solution and it's going to solve it. I believe this thing is not going to die. It's going to offer a permanent solution.
Okay, let's hear from, we'll come to you, Anthony.
Yeah, just to add on what he has said, the Kokadi movement is here to stay and we're not going anywhere. So you find that after we take this movement to the next level, we are going to vote wisely. Even in 2022, say 40% of people were registered. Not everyone voted, but this time this regime is going and we are going to turn out massive coming 2027. This time is going to change. We are going to change a lot. And you can see how 2024, most of the people died, others were injured, same to 2025 protest. So that blood that is running out, is running from people who are dead, is that thing that is making us to get angry. And we are going to take this regime out coming 2027. So expect a massive turnout coming 2027, and we are not going to lag behind. The same thing, we are going to take care of our votes. They are not going to steal this time round. We are going to be there with our cameras, and if they refuse to us with our phones, we are going to have meta glasses to ensure that our votes are not stolen. Yeah, that's the only thing I want to say right now.
Okay, Anthony.
Yeah. You know, there's nothing under the sun that is new. When we go back to 2002, when Kenya was in this moment, we had a very strong man president in the name of Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Didn't we have the same? Didn't we have the late Raila Odinga running for president, Moi Kibaki running for president, Charity Ngilu running for president, the late Nachai running for president, Kijana Wamala running for president? We had all of this.
James Orengo
running for president. At the tail end, all these people came together and it was announced, Kibaki Tosha. So this euphoria will always come up in a political dispensation where you find a big chunk of the country feels disenfranchised. So as my colleague has said, people cling on to hope because hope is one of the currencies of any democracy. And look at how the young people, look at how their conversation is mutating. It is moving from leaderless, now it is becoming structured. We have more issues on the table. We are resonating with more Kenyans. We are talking about the everyday needs of Kenyans. So as Kenyans say, you know, these people are not organized. We forget, at one point people said, doing away with KANU is equivalent to cutting a mugumo tree with a razor blade. Now, if we have felled one mugumo tree in this country, Kenya is the land of hope. We were elected at one point as being the most optimistic nation on planet Earth. We have shown beyond doubt that when the time comes and when the call is here, Kenyans come together and make a decision that literally shocks the world. I'll go back. I remember when people were saying, and I would love to talk to, in this message in particular, to the leader of ODM. Last election he was saying, took on a system. Mm-hmm. He sang took on a system we cannot lose, took on a system we cannot lose. Today he has changed the word system to, I don't know, power or what he's calling it.
Nataka power.
Nataka
Okay?
power.
If at that time Kenyans were saying, but Azimio cannot lose because they have the system. Who rallied the current government to power? It was the hustlers, the mamambogas, the boda people, and the same youth that people are saying right now, these people cannot correlate around, they cannot consolidate around an idea. So this is how young people in this country communicate. Mm-hmm. It's like signaling what you've said. Mm-hmm. We might look, we are confused, but at the tail end, we shall come together and say this is a person. Mm-hmm. Right. To give us that time to look at Matiang'i and say, Matiang'i, we thought you were it, but the more we interrogate you, we see you have issues. Maraga, we thought you're it, but you need to work on this. And these people are working on all those things as we discuss. Mm-hmm. Towards the end, we will meet on a table of equals. This time, the young people are saying, we are coming for that discussion in a structured manner. Before, that lack of structure is what was used against us. So now we are building our base, we strengthen our base, because democracy, your voice is as loud as the base you control. Mm-hmm. So once we build our base, once we consolidate our voice, once we consolidate our vote with the Tukokadi movement, mm-hmm. then we shall have a vetting process where we discuss, not as a voter and a leader, but as equals. And we ask for our fair representation in the government, mm-hmm. across all seats. And when I say across all seats, it's not only on the voter seats. From parastatals to elective positions to running, what are they called? These are other arms of government, the judiciary. We want our representation felt, heard, and seen. Because the young people of this country have shown that given the opportunity, they can actually bring meaningful change. And as I finish, Dibal, I'll tell you, I'm always given hope by Tom Mboya that he wrote the economic plan of this country at 28 years.
You're just reorienting my thoughts, because I was coming there and asking, I wanted just to come back there and we just go back to history. We've got a lot to learn from Tom Mboya as a young man who made such a huge distinctive difference in our politics. But let's hear some of the sentiments that are coming through also on social media. We have a voice note as well, which is coming up next.
Cafe with Dibal, Enya, and Ann Odida. I am Daniel Meli, a student of law at Kenyatta University, watching from Nairobi. As we look towards 2027, Gen Z will play a very critical role in shaping Kenya's next leadership. This is a generation that is informed, digitally connected, as well as increasingly vocal about governance, accountability, and economic opportunity. However, the real question is not just their numbers, but whether they will turn out to vote and remain consistent beyond online activism. If Gen Z shows up in large numbers and vote based on issues rather than personalities, then they can truly decide the next president.